First of all, thank you for coming. I'm delighted you're here this evening to enjoy a very, very special night with a very special guest. As many of you may know, this has been a project of mine since I became the head of the Motion Picture Association 3 or 4 years ago. And that was to create evenings, what I call an evenings with. And I was asked the question about the first week or two of being on the job by a reporter locally. The question was, why do movies matter? And the answer was the question, because they do. But rather than just say that, I thought it might be helpful, in addition to the screenings which we do with great regularity of the 6 companies that I represent here with new releases coming out and the like, that we ought to take advantage of an interest in this community of this art form. Not uniquely ours, but certainly over the last 100 years, no other country has been consistently as good at this as we are. I say that with total appreciation of what others have contributed to over the years. It is a remarkable industry and business. And I'm Exhibit A, as I told Peter earlier coming in. Like most people, I suspect, in this town and elsewhere, my knowledge of this industry was pretty much confined to what Hollywood Extra would tell you, who the latest stars were and what the latest successful movie was and what gossip was happening, I suppose, with various well-known figures. But as far as understanding this industry, this business that employs close to 2 million people. Just imagine this every day in this country. This morning, 1.9 million people got up in all 50 states and went to work in the film and television industry, business. Not all direct jobs, or indirect jobs, but those jobs exist because of this industry. $111 billion in wages that are paid, 300,000 businesses, 90% of which employ fewer than 10 people. Depend upon this industry for their well-being. A major production like Lincoln and Richmond would generate and spend about $250,000 a day on local businesses for the 3 or 4 months they're filming on location. In all 50 states today, you know about obviously television shows like Breaking Bad in New Mexico, and how Louisiana has become a major production site, in the state of Georgia, New York, Michigan, Ohio, goes all across the country. My little state of Connecticut, which I proudly represented for 36 years in Congress, some 12,000 people every day go to work in the film and television business in Connecticut. Blue Sky Studios, ESPN, NBC Sports, CBS, programming in Stanford, all of these things that occur every day. So it's an important industry. And it's not people who ever walk a red carpet. 95% of the people in this business, you're never going to know their names unless you stay around for the credits. They're carpenters and truck drivers, they're makeup artists, sound people, people who raise families, pay mortgages, educate their kids, and enjoy and love the careers that they've discovered in this industry. So I thought tonight might be interesting, in addition to sort of seeing some clips and so forth, but to talk to someone who really has lived and knows the entire panoply of issues that you confront in this very difficult business. Only 2 out of 10 films make money in a box office. 4 out of 10 do as a result of the after-theatrical experience. But 6 out of 10 do not make a nickel for those who invest in them. And so it's a difficult business in many ways. It's a hard business that goes from that discovering a script or a book or a pitch, and then getting those rights and going through the process that ultimately produces that product that you'll see on a screen in your local theater or watch in an after-theatrical experience. But I've become an evangelist in many ways, and I've been blessed with remarkable people who work at the Motion Picture Association, not only here in Washington, but in California and all across the globe, in the Pacific Rim, in Latin America, Canada, and Europe. They're out expanding market access, working on content protection issues and the like, to see to it that this industry has a 21st century future, as much as it did a 20th century success. And tonight we're privileged to have a remarkable individual, Peter McPartlin, who has been deeply involved for 17, 18 years, if I'm correct in those years, Peter, going back, working with Miramax and other companies, and today is involved in a company called Indian Paintbrush as a production company. We met in Berlin. I was there at the Berlin Film Festival, and we were involved in some panels, and I was so taken with Peter's presentation about the story of film and how a film gets made, and great stories around that journey, going from that discovering of a script or a book to getting to that post-production and distribution product that ends up on a theater. Briefly, and I'll give you a little background of his, and we're going to have a good conversation about all of this and invite you as well to be a part of it. Peter began, as many of us did, in that dreadful profession of the lawyer in O'Melveny and Myers. But we grew out of that. I say that respectfully of my friends. And went to Miramax, the Vice President of Business and Legal Affairs. And this will not do justice to what he's done. In fact, I regret I should have brought in for you. There are literally pages of films that Peter's been involved in. But for those of you who are not as familiar with all of that work, has done a remarkable job in creating some masterful productions. The Grand Budapest Hotel with Wes Anderson, what a great opportunity to work with him, and also in Moonrise Kingdom, which was filmed up in New England as well, John, in our backyard, neighboring state of Rhode Island with Wes. Gone Baby Gone with Ben Affleck, Labor Day with Janice Reitman, Everybody's Fine with Robert De Niro, No Country for Old Men, the Oscar winner. Peter was deeply involved in The Queen, another Oscar winner. He was deeply involved in, among many others. So it's a treat tonight to have someone who really has this wonderful history and appreciation, not just from one aspect of this, from production or direction or post-production or distribution, but really has seen the entire picture of all of this. And to share with us that learning experience of how this wonderful, wonderful industry, this remarkable art form happens. And so I'm really honored tonight to have Peter here with us this evening, and you honor us by coming. I mentioned to my good friend Adrian here that you're all having popcorn, and I always remind people, Jack Valletti would never have allowed you to have popcorn. But my first act as CEO was to lift the ban. How could you watch any movie or hear it about popcorn? Jack, suck it up, wherever you are. Along the way. Give a warm welcome, Peter McPartlin.